Well, I guess the cat is out of the bag. There's no more kind of hiding the truth or standing behind NDAs simply because Daisy Ridley decided to reveal it all. Following how John Boyega just completely annihilated everything that had to do with the sequels, now Daisy Ridley seems to have finished with a bitter end as well. She went on to confirm that Rey was almost a Kenobi, somehow presenting her to be the granddaughter of the late Obi-Wan Kenobi. These early discussions were about her being a Kenobi. That's why we hear her in The Force Awakens, and now it makes more sense. It makes sense why we hear Ben Kenobi say Rey in her Force vision in The Force Awakens. Just for us to see in The Rise of Skywalker her being a Palpatine, which Daisy Ridley says it was a last-moment decision. Daisy Ridley literally said that turning Rey into Palpatine's granddaughter wasn't even pitched until Episode 9. We all know that Rey's parentage in the Star Wars sequel trilogy was a heavy point of discussion right out of the gate, and it's not really our fault. The movie The Force Awakens did that intentionally. It set up Rey's parentage to be something special, something to be revealed later on, whereas Kylo Ren was immediately revealed to be the son of Han Solo and Princess Leia. So the movie itself tells us that we should not focus on Kylo Ren's origins as much as Rey, the unknown scavenger on Jakku that seems to have been left as a child by her parents. Speculations, of course, went awry. I remember all those theories crossed the internet talking about her being Obi-Wan Kenobi's granddaughter, Palpatine's granddaughter, and a lot of other fan theories, which me personally, I would have enjoyed her being Obi-Wan Kenobi's granddaughter, of course, simply because the narrative of it all, how Revenge of the Sith ended, how Return of the Jedi ended, and the ending of the sequels with this movie, The Rise of Skywalker, would have been perfect if a Kenobi would have again redeemed a Skywalker. Now, as I said, The Force Awakens established Rey's origins to be the biggest mystery we had seen in Star Wars. She was going to be the next Luke Skywalker for sure, in terms of having her back, watching her grow as a character, and ultimately revealing her true identity. Well, in came Rian Johnson with The Last Jedi and debunked all the fan theories and everybody's expectations by telling us that Rey's parents were basically nobodies through Kylo Ren, only for The Rise of Skywalker then to come after that, and we learn that Palpatine is the grandfather of Rey. She is Rey Palpatine. But was this the plan from the beginning? Was this fleshed out for Daisy Ridley to know from the start who she will end up being in the end? And Daisy Ridley simply said not at all. During an interview on Jimmy Kimmel Live with her friend and Murder on Orient Express co-star Josh Gad, Daisy Ridley walked viewers through the history of changes that were made to Rey's parentage throughout the production of her Star Wars trilogy, meaning the Star Wars sequels. It turns out that the earlier iterations of Rey had her being the offspring of Obi-Wan Kenobi, which was one of the most popular fan theories that were floating around. I remember a lot of videos, even I made a video way back in the early days when the channel was called Bessie and not Star Wars Comics. I made a theory about her being a Kenobi and everything that led us to believe that, her English accent, and even to Ben Kenobi saying Rey in her Force vision. She went on to say, no, at the beginning there were toying with like an Obi-Wan connection, she said after being asked about Rey's origins and Palpatine's family. Daisy continued by saying there were like different versions, and then it really went to that she was no one, meaning in The Last Jedi. But then it came to Episode 9 and JJ pitched me the film and I was like, oh yeah, Palpatine's granddaughter. I was like, awesome. Then 2 weeks later he was like, oh, we're not sure. So it kept changing there for a bit. Even as we were filming, I wasn't sure what the answer was going to be. From what Daisy Ridley tells us here, the decision to make Rey a Palpatine was not finalized until mid-filming of The Rise of Skywalker. So keep this in mind, they kept changing things mid-production. Even they had no idea what was going to happen with the character of Rey. This is not a good indication, and it shows us the flaws flaws, the big flaws that the sequels have that other films did not. Say what you want about the prequels, episode 1 through 3. You might not like them. A lot of fans now do, especially me. I really love the prequels, although my favorites, of course, are the original trilogy. The prequels were pre-planned by George Lucas. It was not changed midway. Maybe some small things here and there, but I don't believe that complete arcs were about to be changed, or origins for that matter. Not like Daisy Ridley says here with Rey. Rey was basically being toyed with. In one episode in The Force Awakens, we were led to believe that she had some connections with Kenobi. Then in episode 8, she was a nobody, and then in Rise of Skywalker, they had no idea whether to leave it for her to be a nobody or for her to be a Palpatine. This was all up in the air. Unfortunately, it shows. The movie shows that it is completely discombobulated, and the character seemed to have suffered the same fate. I believe it won't be one of the more memorable ones. As time went on, in the prequels, we ended up loving a lot of the characters. For example, Qui-Gon Jinn. I'm sure Liam Neeson got a lot of backlash during those times when The Phantom Menace first came out, and Darth Maul as well. Many people hated Darth Maul because he simply had a stupid arc and stupid character, nothing to do with the movie. He was just a show prop. But as the years went on, both of those characters ended up being beloved, together with Padme and a multitude of other characters. Will that happen for Rey as well? I don't think so. I don't believe so. I think we will move on very fast. You see, we love those characters from the prequels because they had time to breathe. George Lucas did not do anything after that except for the Clone Wars, which was very niche and specific. People watched it on TV, but as far as the movies go, people just had time to breathe, reminisce, and nostalgia kicked in. Once they thought about Qui-Gon Jinn and all those other characters, they started loving them more and more. As far as the sequels go and how Disney is trying to treat Star Wars right now, they are planning a lot of things too fast. This is what leads them ultimately to us, the public, forgetting about Rey, Kylo Ren, General Hux, for example, which his character was completely butchered and ended up being meaningless. We had high aspirations for General Hux, and now it will go by the wayside because the sequels were just not planned enough. And Daisy Ridley literally just confirmed that. We are now expecting another trilogy to kick off in 2023. So all in all, other trilogies being planned out, comics, TV shows, The Mandalorian, all these things coming at us too fast and too furious. Well, I think this will be the downfall of these characters from the sequels. The kids will forget them, and the adults will simply not even pay attention to them. In the end, I think the sequels will fall by the wayside. Not pre-planning enough is what spelled doom for the sequels. But of course, let me know what you guys think as well. Tell me, what do you think about Rey being a Kenobi, which would have been just fantastic and beautiful. I would have loved it much more than her being a Palpatine. But let me know, what do you guys think? Talk to me down below in the comments. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and if you enjoyed, leave a thumbs up down below. Subscribe for dailies. Now you can have an awesome day, Star Wars fans. I'll see you in the next video, and may the Force be with you. Until then.